Hello everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon the series Gold and Silver episode talk. And here we are, boys. We finally made it to Violet City. We're here. And the plotline we're dealing in this episode today, we technically have two things from the games that I'll talk about later. But anyway, we are finally here and on the way over to the gym. Some kids come out of nowhere and grab Pikachu and violently want to play with Pikachu. And then the teacher arrives and we have a little bit of a side episode because we go to the academy. And there we have the dancing principal, who is the guy who next to the gym in Violet City, who spins around and talks really weird. My favorite guy in Violet City, if I'm being honest here. And then when the teacher's like, I like the fact that he dances, Brock instantly starts dancing too, obviously to impress the woman. So then Ash gets to talk to the children about, Pokemon training and stuff like that. And when he kind of starts to lose the kids, he starts to say that he made it to the top 16 of the Indigo League. And then afterwards, we're gonna show the kids the Pokemon. So everyone pops out and everyone's kind of playing with the kids, except for obviously Chikorita, who is close to Ash always. And apparently the class is going to have a field trip to the Sprout Tower, because just like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, when you reach Violet City, you cannot challenge the gym until you are done with Sprout Tower. Also, Zaki really wants Pikachu, one of the kids who was violently playing with Pikachu earlier in the episode. So then he's like, why don't you just leave Ash and join me? And Pikachu's like, no. And then Zaki's like, I'll take you. It's like, wow, okay, Zaki. But Pikachu shocks Zaki, and then Ash comes over, and Zaki steals a Pokeball from Ash in order to capture Pikachu, and Pikachu runs away, and Zaki goes after him. And Ash isn't really worried about it necessarily, because Pikachu can handle himself, but he decides to still return all of his Pokemon to the Pokeballs in order to go after Zaki and Pikachu. So then in the forest, Zaki throws his ball at what he thinks is Pikachu and catches a Pokemon in the Pokeball. And Ash sees this and he wants the Pokeball. So then they have a little struggle and fall into a hole dug by Team Rocket, obviously. And Zaki is like, go Pikachu, use Thunder Shock or Thunderbolt, one or the other. And then Bellsprout pops out. So it wasn't Pikachu at all. So Pikachu's still out there. So then Team Rocket has a brilliant idea. We're gonna use a megaphone to lure Pikachu here. You remember that one from like the Jenny episode from season 1. So Pikachu arrives. Team Rocket throws a net, but Ash is like, watch out Pikachu. And that causes Pikachu to move away. And the net attaches itself to a rock and falls a little bit down into the hole, allowing Ash and Zaki to get out of the hole. And then afterwards, we send Team Rocket flying. And apparently they land on Sprout Tower, where they hear from the class, who is there at the moment, that Ash is eventually going to get there as well. So Team Rocket is going to have a dastardly plan. But first, we need to get these people out of Sprout Tower. So Weezing, use your smoke screen in order to get everyone out. So then Ash and Zaki arrive. Initially, Zaki did not like Bellsprout, but then Bellsprout tried to cheer up Zaki, and now Zaki likes Bellsprout. Fantastic. Also, speaking about that, this is the other thing that I was talking about from the games, because there are actually 3 things. I forgot about the dancing guy, but there are 3 things for the games, because in Violet City, you have the dancing guy from the school, you have the Sprout Tower, but also in Violet City, you have that trade where you trade a Bellsprout for an Onyx, and this is referencing that. I love the way that the anime actually did that without doing the trade. Big fan. But anyway, eventually they arrive at the Sprout Tower and then send out obviously Squirtle in order to be able to stop the fire, but there's the smoke, no fire. So then Team Rocket revealed themselves, everyone goes inside, and it turns out that Team Rocket are cutting the pillar in half and have attached a rocket to it in order to steal it. I don't really understand this part of the plan, but it doesn't really matter. But anyway, they got that going on. So the Pokemon are basically cutting the thing, and also Meowth has a button that if he presses it, the rocket is going to activate anyway and basically destroy the whole tower. So Ash can't use his Pokemon, but Zaki has Bellsprout out of the ball. So technically, Ash has Squirtle out of the ball. But anyway, Bellsprout, after pulling on Zaki's jacket in order to, because like, I want to fight, uses Razor Leaf in order to get the remote away from Meowth. And then afterwards, Squirtle blocks Team Rocket from getting the remote, and Bulbasaur, after Ash sends out Bulbasaur, grabs the remote. So now that we got that remote, so then Team Rocket has a different idea. Also, Team Rocket stole Pikachu, forgot to say that one. But then Team Rocket jump onto the rocket in order to blast himself away once it's been fully cut, and they won't get away because Ash's Bulbasaur and Zaki's Bellsprout, they use Razor Leaf in order to, 1, get Pikachu back, but also cut the rocket free from the pillar. So while the rocket is trying to move, the pillar gets cut loose, so Team Rocket fly off into nowhere because goodbye Team Rocket. So we got Pikachu back, and then afterwards we have the ending of the episode, and Brock is allowed to stay at the school if he dances with the principal, that kind of stuff. But Brock is like, no, I want to stay with the woman, not with the principal. So we head off to the next gym. Well, the first Johto gym, because that's gonna happen in the next episode. And I very much like this episode, all the references to the game's big fan. However, one little negative about this episode, I really wish that the principal did talk in that way that he does in the games. It would have been way funnier if he talked that way. But anyway, outside of that, big fan of this episode. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section down below. And with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, turn on notifications, don't forget to check out the Let's Play channel link in the description and at the end of the video. And also something that I just thought of before I end this video is the fact that Zaki uses Ash's Pokeball in order to catch Bellsprout. By the way, just like with Brock catching that Tauros in the band episode, that does not mean that the Pokemon belongs to Ash. But anyway, it's kind of like the trade, because Zaki uses Ash's Pokeball in order to catch Bellsprout. It's kind of like the trade. An extra point for that little bit of reference. But anyway, next time, gym battle. Bye!